Hi, I'm Lee, your host for the Portable Appliance Testing Trade Association's podcast. So we've got another guest in today. Welcome to the PATTA podcast. Please do tell our listeners what your name is and your role in PATTA.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Tim James and I'm Standards Director of PATTA, the Portable Appliance Testing Trade Association.
Excellent. So how long have you been with PATTA, and has anything changed for you since you started?
Okay, that's a good question. So I helped set up PATTA in the early days with Richard Eyre, who you'll interview at some point, I'm
Absolutely,
sure.
yes.
Operations
He's
Director.
on the list.
Yeah. So he is Operations Director, I'm Standards Director. And PATTA sort of really came about, we started off with a group of people who about 10 years ago. We really were quite frustrated about what was happening in the PAT testing industry, and we wanted to sort of start something that would make a difference. We started an organisation called the PAT Testing Network, which was quite successful, but it was really just sort of a networking group
It was
of
also
individuals.
known as the PTN, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And it was set up really just to sort of share good practice and raise the standards a little bit. And then about 2018, 2019, Richard and I said, well, it's probably time to take it to the next level now and turn it into an actual proper trade association. And so that's what we did.
Yeah.
And so going from strength to strength and getting new members all the time, and remembering to sort of stick by our core values, which is like raising standards and generally improving the reputation of the industry.
And you just mentioned about members. Do you roughly know how many members you've got at the moment?
I think we're up to about 159 members now, all professional PAT testers, all trying their best to improve the industry.
Excellent. So Tim, what's changed or what's developed since starting the PAT Testing Trade Association?
Well, I think becoming a trade association, a sort of formally registered association, if you like, has opened up a lot of doors now, because PATTA is taken seriously. So, for example, as Standards Director, I'm involved in something called a business reference panel, which is where different trade associations go and talk directly to government. So we have a sort of an inroad, if you like, to the very top of government. And
so you're actively having meetings with government officials?
Is that right? All the time. This is sort of talking to people about new legislation, new changes in the industry, new developments. And then, of course, the probably the biggest thing was in 2018, I was invited by the IET to take part in the writing of the 5th edition Code of Practice.
Yeah.
So that was obviously a big thing. So I was able to sort of put forward our members' views and opinions and try and get those reflected.
And that's what PATTA's about, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Is being the voice for our members.
Yes.
The guys on the ground who are doing the work don't necessarily are able to communicate across. Without having a trade association, there wouldn't be that influence on the code of practice.
Absolutely,
come from.
There's lots and lots of people doing PAT testing very well, but it's also fair to say that there's a lot of bad PAT testing out there as well. And a lot of our members complain about this all the time. They've been undercut on price, and the people that are doing the undercutting aren't necessarily always doing the job properly. So just by raising standards, just by trying to encourage the customers to get the job done properly, trying to alert
almost educating customers.
Well, absolutely, educating the customers as to what's actually required in a PAT test, because in a lot of cases the customer doesn't really know what PAT testing is involved in. All they know is that somebody comes around and puts a green label on the back of their computers, and they don't necessarily know if it's been done properly.
Absolutely.
So, as well as sort of providing services to our members, PATTA is also very much involved in trying to educate the customers as to what's required, so that if they do pay 50p an item and they don't get their stuff PAT tested properly, then at least they should be knowing what should be done and could identify these sort of bad practices and hopefully gradually sort of drive those.
And if they are unsure, where can they go to get this information?
Well,
we've got a website.
Yeah, PATTA's producing a lot of guidance. There's various YouTube videos that are out there. We're adding more all the time, adding content, and of course podcasts like this, which are a really good way of getting the message out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. So, Tim, what got you into pat testing? What's your typical day?
Oh, wow, a really good question. So I've been doing pat testing for a long, long time, longer than I care to remember, really. I started doing pat testing when I worked as a school science technician. I was 18 years old. It was about 1986, I think,
Okay.
when I first got into it. We didn't really call it pat testing then. That phrase sort of really started to come about in the early 90s. And by that point, I already had quite a senior role at County Hall, where I was looking after a lot of health and safety issues for the education department. So I sort of implemented pat testing across the whole of the schools. In the 90s, when it became a thing, I worked in local government, worked in central government, worked with training standards for a little while. And then in 2003, I actually started a commercial pat testing business, and I got that to the point where we were sending engineers out all over the UK. And then 2009, I started Pat Testing Expert, which is pretty much a consultancy. So we do a lot of pat testing, of course. But most of what I do now, to be fair, is teaching. We run courses in pat testing. We teach anybody who wants to learn how to do it, really.
And that's the Pat Testing Expert?
That's Pat Testing Expert, yes, my business.
Yeah. Okay.
And we do a lot of courses, for example, for the BBC. We've just finished a series of courses for IKEA, for example. So just teaching people how to do pat testing. But even though we get involved in different aspects of the industry, so we sell pat testing equipment, we repair it, we sell labels and plugs and fuses and all the other bits and pieces like that. Sure. But I still take every opportunity that I can get to go out with our engineers, and I crawl around under people's desks and I test their stuff, because that's how I sort of first got into it. And I think, you know, if you want to be an expert in something, then you have to be able to do it. And I think too many people now, you know, they sort of spend all the time behind the desk, and I can't do that.
So you sound quite a busy guy. You're not only the director of PATTA, one of the directors, I should say. Sorry, Richard, you are one of the directors of PATTA. You've also got the Pat Testing Expert, where you're teaching pat testing. I'm assuming you're doing that day in, day out. Is that?
I'm doing a lot of training courses. But I love it. I mean, I always tell people it's better than working for a living. You know,
and you're out on the tools as well. You sound like a very busy guy.
I am. Yeah,
so
I am.
Is there anything else that you do as well? Is it a hobby or something, or do you?
I've got various hobbies. I should mention as well, I've got a family as well. I should just in case my wife is listening to this. Yes, I do go home occasionally, and I'm quite involved in music as well. That's sort of a bit of a hobby.
That's what weekends are for.
Weekends, absolutely. But most days I'm out running training courses, and I say I'm meeting different people every day. I love it.
Yeah, brilliant. What's been your best customer experience, or even your worst customer experience? Have you got any stories you could tell us?
I would say the best thing probably about pat testing for me is the varied nature of what you do, and the fact that no 2 days are different. And some of the places we go into factories, and you see people sitting in rows doing the same job day after day after day, and I just think, I just couldn't do that. Some people have got a mindset, I haven't. And what I love about what I do is the fact that every day is different. I'm in a different venue every day. If I'm teaching, sometimes I'll be in a swanky hotel, sometimes I'll be in a warehouse. But I mean, some of the
varied workplaces you're going to,
and some of the places you go to are quite incredible. One thing I've always found astonishing about pat testing is the sort of the freedom you have to wander around these buildings. So you go into a police station and they give you an all-access pass. So you're wandering around, you know, TV studios, especially when I do work for the BBC, for example. You're going into army bases, and you know, sometimes you'll be in the control tower of an airport.
Kind of makes the job much more interesting.
Oh, fascinating!
And, for me, as being a pat tester, as some people do know, is when you're going out to an office and you might get a comment, God, I bet that's boring. You're just plugging it in and unplugging it day in, day out. But what they don't see is what we see, that those people in an office, same four walls, same faces, same conversation, whereas we are out on the road, new face, new conversation, fresh air
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
But it's that opportunity in the business that makes it quite unique, doesn't
It absolutely is. And sometimes you go to horrible places. I mean, we were in a factory the other day that did tanning of leather. The stench was unbearable. But we were there for 6 hours.
Wow.
And then you're in the van and you're off somewhere else. And then the next day you're in a nice office. The only sort of caveat to that is that we have to be very careful, because sometimes you can be on a building site at 7 o'clock in the morning testing power tools and you're getting covered in mud, and then in the afternoon you're in a nice office somewhere in central London and you have to clean yourself up a bit before you get there. But
this is where your training side comes in handy, and letting the guys go out and pick the places.
Yes, definitely.
Excellent. Yeah. So what motivates you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What's your routine?
Well, I'd love to say that I leap out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym for a couple of hours. And
don't we all?
Yeah, but I don't. It's deadlines for me, I'm afraid. I have to set myself deadlines. I usually meet them. If I've got to be somewhere for 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm there for 9 o'clock in the morning. But I won't be there half an hour early. I'll be there just on time most of the time.
Yeah.
I get very frustrated when I see people who have this sort of very Instagram sort of life where they're just constantly motivated and constantly perky and constantly cheerful, and life's different. Life's complicated.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people struggle with that, and I do get a lot done, and I'm proud of what I do, but yeah, I live and die by my calendar. I have to set myself reminders. I have to set myself deadlines. You like that
structure. You like the schedule.
Yeah.
You know what's got to be done, and you're planning ahead. And you've got a vision of where you want to be at.
Yeah, and actually, to be honest, sometimes it does get quite complicated, because I am going away for sort of 3 or 4 days at a time, and then I think, well, I've got to be able to do that on that day. So I'm trying to work out how many shirts I need, how many pairs of underpants I need to put in my suitcase, and things like that. So it's a question of being quite organised.
Yeah. But as you say, having that a good team behind you as well.
Oh yeah,
makes
definitely.
That working life much easier.
I have a very good team in the office who look after me and tell me where to go, where to be, and what to do, and that makes life much, much easier. But yeah, I would say I'd love to be this person that leaps out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I don't. I press the snooze button far too many times.
I'm with you on that one. And finally, Tim, what is the one piece of advice that you can give our PATTA listeners? This can be anything from like running a business, testing a piece of equipment, the best place to buy equipment, anything. Have you got one single piece you can sort of say, if I could go back, I would tell myself this from the start?
Well, if I could go back and tell myself something, that would be easy, because I can answer it in one word, or it might be 2 words, I don't know, but knee pads.
Knee pads.
Knee pads, yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah. I'm absolutely 100% with you on that one.
Yeah. I'm 58 years old now, and I wish I'd spent the last 20 years with some decent knee pads in, because you just spend such a lot of time pat testing. You're crawling around on your hands and knees. You're under people's desks all the time. And now I wish I'd looked after my knees.
Yeah, and I can't stress that enough, really. Yeah. We talk about PPE, we talk about health and safety, and we're there to look after other people's safety at the end of the day as well.
Yeah.
But we sometimes fail to forget about our own safety. And part of that is looking after your knees, because it only takes a couple of occasions where you're kneeling down under a desk and you found yourself, you've got a staple in your kneecap.
Yeah.
Or you've just knelt on something, it hurts. But what that you don't realise is, as you get older, and you say you're 58, I'm 52, it starts to wear down, and it will wear down much quicker. So Tim, that's a brilliant piece of advice. Yeah. So if you're out there now doing the testing, invest in a good pair of kneecap protectors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's just a bit of foam. Yeah,
definitely. Even just a cushion or something.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Tim, for coming in and sharing your thoughts on the podcast, and look forward to the next podcast.
Thanks for inviting me.